of kids, but that also means we are ready for some football.
Oh yeah. And you're a football fan. I'm a football fan, but that also means it's time to check in with our NFL expert, Mr. Scott Shanle. He's currently in Irvine, California, covering the New Orleans Saints training camp for Yurview, and he joins us right now. What is happening, Scott? It's good to see that you are inside. I know it's hot out there in California.
It's hot, but I'm from Dallas, Texas, and it's not that type of hot. It's beautiful weather out here. I got away. I'm sitting inside the tent while the guys are practicing. But it's been a really fun week of getting out here in California and just watching the team compete and being in person.
Oh yeah.
So envious of you right now. And it's interesting to see these teams holding training camps outside of their local markets. So what are some of the benefits that you see to teams getting away to begin their seasons? Although in California, I think everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of NFL teams jealous when they see teams come out to California. So you asked about the benefits. Definitely the first benefit is weather. You don't get weather like this in New Orleans. The humidity in New Orleans this time of year with all those pads and the helmets on, you guys will lose 10 or 15 pounds of practice. Out here, guys are losing 2 or 3 pounds of practice, just not sweating out. You're working just as hard, but just the weather helps. And then I think the benefits are twofold. You get away from home, you get away from some distractions, and you're kind of at a true camp experience where all the guys are bonding and hanging out together, and it's football 24/7. So you hope those things bring your team together.
Yeah, and speaking of bringing your team together, I mean, let's talk the NFC South. Is it still up for grabs? I mean, the Saints very well, but they've gone through some changes, and how do you think they look?
Yeah, I think they look good. I think people are asleep on them a little bit throughout the national media landscape. I know there's been struggles the last couple of years. Been just an average team, 500 team, 9-8, 8-9. So that doesn't usually excite the national media narrative around your team. But I think this team is kind of in a way a sleeping giant. Just watching them practice, watching them interact together, the competitive fire. Yesterday's practice was one of the better practices I've seen all week. Defense is chatting back and forth with the offense, and I love the camaraderie on this team. I really do. I think there's a very high respect and a regard for one another and being teammates. And you can feel a love starting to develop. So it sounds cliche, but those things go a long ways. During a 18-game regular season, you have to be able to care about the guys you play with, and then you go from that. And it's a very talented team. So this team could surprise a lot of people. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. Well, even with Derek Carr, is he still the starter?
Yeah, Derek's starting. There's a really good backup quarterback spot right now with Hayner, and Spencer Rattler was their 5th-round pick. He played at Oklahoma. He was the number 1 high school recruit in the country. So they're really excited about him and potentially being the future franchise quarterback. Being a 5th-round pick would be a huge diamond in the rough find for them. So there's a big battle at the backup quarterback position, but guys are already starting to look forward to the future, and maybe do they have their quarterback of the future in waiting.
That's exciting. It's always interesting to see kind of how everything plays out as you go through the season, because you never really know until it gets started and you see the guys in action. And that brings me to my next question. What about outside of the South in the NFC? Are there other teams that you see poised maybe to take a leap, or other teams that you see could drop off?
Yeah, I definitely think when you look at the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles every year always add to their roster. They have a really stacked roster. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be a really good team. And I can see, I live in Dallas, so I listen to it all the time. I fly my black and gold flags and I get stares all the time. But no, every year the Dallas Cowboys, there's hope. They put together a great roster. They won a lot of championships in the 90s. So the expectation in Dallas is to win championships. I really think the Eagles and the Cowboys are 2 of the better teams in the NFC. And then you go back to the NFC South, the Falcons are a young up-and-coming team. They added Kirk Cousins to the quarterback spot. I know Saints fans don't want to hear that because that's the rival, but Atlanta will be better. I think that the NFC is definitely more wide open than the AFC, because the AFC, they have a guy named Patrick Mahomes who everything has to run through, and NFC is a little more wide open.
Yeah, and I was just about to get into that with Patrick Mahomes, because they're trying to do something that I don't think has ever been done, a three-peat in the Super Bowl. So they got a lot of pressure. A lot of teams are just chomping at the bit just to give them their best shot. So do you think they have a good shot? I mean, it's still Andy Reid. It's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still, is it Taylor Swift's boyfriend?
Yeah. Yeah, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. So
Yep.
You said it perfect. As long as Patrick Mahomes is taking the snaps and And then Andy Reid is the head coach. He's a really, really good head coach. Will be in the Hall of Fame someday. That team has a chance and will probably be the favorite to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. So they added to their wide receiver core. They had a super speedy kid out of Texas this year who's going to take over that Tyreek Hill role from a couple years ago. So they could be even better on offense, and that's a dangerous thought. So as long as Patrick Mahomes is always there, Kansas City Chiefs fans, congratulations. You're always going to be in the conversation to going to the Super Bowl.
And that with Taylor Swift combined, and we talk about a power couple, right? And you're going to have everybody behind you there.
Yeah, all the eyes were already on them already because of how good they were at football. Now you have one of the biggest superstars in the world putting the eyeballs on them too. So the Chiefs are kind of the darling of the NFL for sure.
Oh my gosh, I know. And so another question, throughout your career, I know you make so many friends and make so many relationships and have memories. And so when you get to cover these training camps and see old teammates come through, what is it like catching up with all of them?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's like time stands still. We get together and life takes us all different directions. We're spread out throughout the entire country. Guys are in Florida, Texas, California, you name it, every state. And when we get back together, it's like time has stood still a little bit and all the stories come back. And I was joking with somebody yesterday, the same stories kind of get told over and over again, even though it's been a while, but the stories always get embellished a little bit. And we never let the truth get in the way of a good story, make the stories a little bit better. But it's so much fun seeing those guys. We went through so many battles, so many tough training camps. 2006, a year after Hurricane Katrina, we were kind of all the new guys on the block, brought in Drew Brees. And we were just excited to build it from the foundation and the ground up and to give the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast region something to be excited about. And we wear that as a badge of honor just as much as anything else that we accomplish individually.
Yeah, and accomplished things you guys definitely did. Now, obviously, you're retired from the NFL, but that doesn't mean you're not ready for some football. I'm sure you're super excited for the season to start, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait. The season keeps getting longer, but it's fun to cover 18 games, 16 games when I played. And I think eventually it'll probably get to 19 or 20. And the more football, the better. I love covering these guys and watching them.